exciting day planned for you. We want to tell you all about the things in Lynn and Chelsea that are here to help families.
¡Yes! ¡Qué emocionante, Bob! Entonces tenemos un día lleno de sorpresas.
We also invited some friends to entertain you.
¿Más amigos? ¿En dónde están? ¿En dónde están, Bob?
Oh, we'll pay close attention because you can also win prizes.
¿Escucharon, amigos? Vamos a tener premios y muchas sorpresas.
Isn't that exciting? Are you ready, Matilda?
Sí, estoy esperando este gran evento. Sí.
Are you ready, my friends? Yay!
Yay!
Hi guys, my name is Nikki. I work at Curious Creatures and we are here with Emmy the emu, and he is about 15 years old. These guys come from Australia and they're the second largest bird in the world. The first largest bird is the ostrich. So they are actually cousins with the ostrich, so they look a lot alike, but emus are a much friendlier bird. So Emmy is a rescue. He came from a farm up in New Hampshire where it's really cold. And a lot of people think emus can only live where it's warm because they're from Australia. But Emmy can live in temperatures as cold as 12 degrees. And we give him a little house with a heat lamp during winter and some blankets and lots of hay. But he still chooses to come out and play in the snow. The only time we've ever seen him use his house because he was cold is actually because the snow was so high he was too scared to step over the snow to come out. So he enjoys the winter time. We give him basic bird food that you would give to an emu. It's a very special diet, but one of his favorite snacks is kale. So while we're prepping food for the other animals at Curious Creatures, he stands by the door and waits very patiently for us to put kale and some fruit cut up really tiny up on the windowsill, and he will grab it off the windowsill because he has a really long neck. So he is actually 7 feet tall when he stands up straight, and I'm only 5 feet tall, so he's way taller than me. So he is a very friendly bird. We tried to give him a neighbor once, and she was not very nice, so he lives alone. In the wild, they're very social birds, which means they have lots of friends, and they live in big herds of emus. And a really funny thing about Emmy is one time he was running around the yard, and it took us a little while to get him back in, but something that emus do all the time is they always follow a person or a fence line. So once we convinced him to follow us, we could walk him back in. A cool thing about emus in the wild is a very long time ago in Australia, there was something called the Emu Wars. They were destroying all the farms, and so we tried to control them and we couldn't, and we had to retreat. So the emus won the war. So it's a pretty fun fact about emus. So this is Mickey. Mickey is a Brazilian rainbow boa. These guys come from Central and South America, and if you can see, these guys get their name because they have these rainbow colors all over their bodies. So that's because they have uneven edges on their scales. Kind of like a diamond ring, when it shines in the sun, it has a rainbow color to it. That's what's happening to the scales. It's like a prism. So it's very, very colorful. Pretty much all snakes have this, but theirs is just more defined. So there's a lot of purples, blues, and greens. And these guys don't get very big, unlike some other boas who can reach 12 to 15 feet. These guys only get about 5 or 6 feet. I'm 5 feet tall, so pretty much as tall as me, maybe a little bit taller. These guys can live up to 20 years. We've had Mickey for a little while, but based on her size, we think she might be in her teenage years. So she's very active, it's very sunny, very warm, which is what they like, and it kind of looks like she's snooping around for some snacks. We feed these guys every 2 weeks, and she, I think, is eating small rats. And she gets her name, or Mickey, he gets his name because he has these little Mickey Mouse shapes all over his body with the ears. And so we thought Mickey was an appropriate name for him. So he is a constrictor. He's non-venomous. These guys squeeze their food to death and swallow it whole. The reason that he's not trying to bite us is because he was born in captivity, raised by people. He's used to us. He has no fear of us. And the only reason a snake would bite is to defend itself because it was afraid for its life or it was going to eat. And we are way too big for him to eat. He wouldn't be able to fit us all the way in his mouth. So they do often try to eat food a little bit too big for their mouth, but nothing as big as us. So this is Maggie, and she is a ferret, and these guys are related to the black-footed ferret, which is found in the wild. And these guys come from wherever the prairie dog is living because that's what they would be eating. And so that's southern Canada to northern Mexico. They're very, very good pets to have because they're very playful, very friendly, and they're pretty crazy, so it makes them a lot of fun to play with. They live about 8 to 10 years. And they need a very, very specific diet. If you give them a diet that's not what's intended for them, it could make them very sick. They have very easily upset tummies, so you're not supposed to give them too many vegetables or anything like that. She is shaped like a weasel, the long body, because she's related to the weasel. She's also cousins with a skunk, which we have here in the wild, so it's pretty cool. So another thing I should mention about the ferret is, much like the skunk, they have a very specific smell to them. And this smell, we think, smells bad. Even if we do give them a bath on a regular basis, they're still gonna have that smell. A few hours later, it will come back, and it's from scent glands on their body. It's a defense mechanism. Other animals that would be eating them don't like the smell either, so it's there to protect them. So they do have a very distinct ferret smell. So cool thing about alligators is we don't know everything there is to know about them yet because we're still learning about them. There's an alligator in a zoo in Russia who is almost 100 years old, and the only way to know how old they are is to know when they were born. So when we have a wild alligator, we don't know when it's born. We can take a guess. So this alligator will tell us all we need to know about how old they can be and how big they can get. So an average alligator in the wild is like 12 to 14 feet, 14 being a little more rare. And they can weigh up to 1,000 pounds. So the male is generally much bigger. You see all these little baby teeth? Those teeth will fall out and new teeth will come in right behind it, and they can go through around 3,000 teeth in one lifetime. And then you can see this is the tongue. It's attached to the bottom of their mouth. And then these are called osteoderms. These are like bone plates that go all the way down her back. These not only keep her protected like a shield, but they help to collect the heat from the sun, kind of like a solar panel. And she uses it for heat later on when it's cooler at night. So these guys are actually good for 30 degrees. They slow down their metabolisms, and that way all they have to do to survive is live off of the stored fat that they've put on to get ready for the cool temps and breathe. And then when it warms up, their metabolism gets a little faster, and then they go look for snacks. So our alligators, we can only have them up until 3.5 feet. They usually grow, there's a lot of environmental factors, so when they're this little, they can grow like almost a foot, maybe a little under a foot a year. So by the time we're getting rid of them, they're 3.5, maybe 4 years old. Some of them get longer, some of them get thicker, and they're not as long. Some have tails that are really long, and if we're lucky, they let us get away with that extra couple inches on the end of that tail. So it's also a matter of, do they fit in their travel bin? So we want them to be comfortable when we're taking them to meet people. So we don't want them to be cramped inside their travel bins. So they have 2 eyelids. So one eyelid is there to act like a goggle, and it goes from side to side, front to back. And that not only protects their eye underwater, but it also makes it so that he can see better. See you later, alligators.
Hello again. Do you like my costume? Do you know what sound a frog makes?
Ay no, yo sé cómo hacen las ranas. Yo sé, Bob.
What sound do they make?
Rabbit, rabbit.
Yes, exactly. Wow, I like your costume, Matilda.
Oh, gracias, Bob. Yo soy un león muy feroz.
Oh, that's very scary. Are you ready to participate in the raffle?
Sí, ¿estamos listos para otra rifa?
Why, hello everybody. My name is Professor Bruce Looney. You may also call me Bruce or Mr. Looney, but you may not call me Bruce the Lunatic. We're going to have some fun with bubbles. And whatever you do with bubbles, don't eat them. Yuck. And this is fun that you can have yourself at home. Now you can spend a lot of money and buy a bubble solution, or you can make your own. And there's notes how you make your own bubble solution, but I'll tell you how it's done right now. You take 10 cups of water, 1 cup of old-fashioned Dawn or Joy that you get in the dollar store, and then you can add, if you would like, a teaspoon or 2 of glycerin or Karo sugar syrup. They help. If you don't have that, you'll still get good bubbles, but it's better if you have the Karo syrup or the glycerin. Number 1, if you're chasing a bubble, please be careful, because sometimes, not on this surface, but on some surfaces, bubbles can make the ground very slippery. You don't want anyone to fall and bang their head. Now, who knows what this is, or was? But this wouldn't be a very good fly swatter now, would it? No. But what does it do really well? Now, these bubbles aren't as big as the bubbles from the coat hanger, but I think they're pretty good. Now, you can buy, usually you can buy 2 fly swatters at the dollar store in 1 package for $1. And I'm going to show you how I make that. So here is my fly swatter, and I'm going to just cut it. Cut out any kind of shape in the middle. It can be square, it can be circle, really doesn't matter. Here's our new bubble wand. Now that took about 1 minute to make? Yeah. Does everybody have an extra minute in the day? Okay, now, those are outside bubbles, but it's nice to be able to do inside bubbles too, isn't it? So let me show you how you can make some inside bubbles. So here is a pipe cleaner. I'm going to just make a loop and twist the end of the loop around a few times. And then I'm going to soak it really good.
Matilda, do you know that you can make instruments out of reusable materials in your house?
¿De verdad? ¿Podemos hacer instrumentos con material reciclable en nuestra propia casa? ¿De verdad, Bob?
Yes, pick an instrument that you want to make.
Ok, ¿qué instrumento quiero hacer? Maracas, maracas.
Oh yes, that's a great choice.
No. Un palo de lluvia, Bob. Quiero hacer un palo de lluvia. Me encanta el sonido del palo de lluvia.
Oh, that's a great idea. My friends, do you want to learn how to make a rain stick?
Sí,
Yes.
quiero aprender cómo hacerlo. ¿Ustedes, amigos?
Yay! My friend here will teach you how to make a rain stick.
Hi everyone, my name is Cristina. Saludos, me llamo Cristina, and I'm so excited to be with you guys today. Estoy tan contenta de estar con ustedes. I don't know about you, but I love to sing. Me encanta cantar, and I love to listen to music. Me encanta escuchar la música, especially sometimes during these days when we're at home, especialmente durante estos días cuando estamos en la casa. Pero otra cosa que me encanta escuchar son los sonidos de la naturaleza. I also love to hear the sounds from nature. And nature makes a lot of interesting sounds. You hear the birds chirping, crickets as well. A veces uno escucha los grillos, los pájaros. But there's one thing in nature that's really interesting, algo en la naturaleza muy interesante, and that is rain, the sound that rain makes, el sonido que hace la lluvia. And so today I actually want to bring you along with me. Quiero que me acompañen hoy día. We're gonna make an instrument. Vamos a hacer un instrumento which is actually going to be similar to the sound that rain makes. We're going to make a rain stick. Vamos a hacer un palo de lluvia, o también se llama un palo de agua, que tiene un sonido similar al sonido que hace la lluvia. So I'm really excited. And I actually already made a rain stick here. Hice ya un palo de agua. I'm gonna show you a little bit what it sounds like. I'm not sure if you can hear that. No sé si lo pueden escuchar, pero un poquito como suena. But don't worry, we're gonna get a good rain stick going. Vamos a hacer un buen palo de lluvia. And we're gonna make some music ourselves. Y vamos a hacer un poquito de música. So, you might be like, okay, cool, Cristina. Bueno, entonces, ¿qué es lo que necesitamos? Don't worry, I got you. So, primero, algo que necesitamos es un tubo, como un rollo de papel o algo así. So you need a tube, so probably like a paper towel tube, something similar to this. And if it's harder, even better, algo que sea fuerte, el material, we're gonna use one of these. Something else you need, algo más que pueden usar son clavos. So a couple of nails. And I would say to try to have about 10 to 12 of these, como de 10 a 12. If you can't find nails, if you can't have any of those, then you can use some aluminum foil. Si no tienen, entonces pueden usar papel de aluminio. Okay? And so what else do we need to make our rain sticks? Let me tell you. We need some, también necesitamos algunas habichuelas. I don't know if you like to eat. And these don't look that great. You know why? Because they're not cooked. So don't eat them. No se ven tan apetitivos porque no están cocinados, so no se lo coman. But you're gonna need some dried beans. And I've got some split peas here. Aquí tenemos algunas habichuelitas. You also need some rice. I don't know if you like rice out there. Si le gustan el arroz, un moro buenísimo. You need some rice as well, some dried rice, okay? And you can grab something else that's similar. También pueden agarrar algo similar al arroz, a las habichuelas. I've got some sprinkles, some jimmies here. I love the colors, me encantan los colores. Some of these things are really awesome. Also, you're gonna need some rubber bands. También algunas gomas o elásticos también. And some markers, unos marcadores. And if you want, if you have some stuff like some streamers or things, algunas tiras, si quieren, that's just extra. You're gonna need some construction paper. So I have some construction paper. You actually only need one piece. We're gonna use orange. Vamos a usar este color anaranjado. And some tape. Y también cinta adhesiva. And basically with that, oh, I can't forget a scissor, porque no puedo cortar con mis dedos, so you're gonna need some scissors too, unas tijeras, okay? So this is what we're going to do to get started. Vamos a coger nuestro tubo. We're gonna grab our tube, and as you can see, we have two ends. Tenemos nuestras dos puntas, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna cover up one of these ends with our construction paper. Vamos a cubrir esa punta. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my construction paper. I'm gonna cut it in half. Lo voy a cortar aquí por mitad. I'm gonna cut it again. Lo voy a cortar nuevamente. And that piece, I'm gonna go ahead and grab it and I'm gonna put it on the end. Lo voy a poner en una de las puntas del tubo. And I'm basically gonna wrap it up nice and tight. Lo voy entonces poner aquí y cubrir esta punta. And I'm gonna grab one of those rubber bands. Voy a agarrar una de esas gomas elásticas. Eso es para asegurarse de que esta punta no se vaya a soltar. So I'm gonna go ahead, grab my rubber band, I'm gonna wrap it around y aquí estoy entonces amarrando básicamente mi punta ahí con mi goma. And there we go, looking good, looking good. What do you guys think? Okay, ¿se ve bien? Ya tengo esta punta todo bien. So my end is all set. So now, guess what we're gonna do? Adivinen qué vamos a hacer. Some people might think that we're gonna put some stuff in there. Yes and no, but we are gonna put some stuff. Lo que vamos a hacer ahora, we're gonna go ahead and grab our nails. Vamos a agarrar nuestros clavos. And for this part, if you are young, please ask for help from an adult. Si eres un poquito más pequeñito, asegúrate que alguien te ayude, because I don't want you to get hurt. No quiero que se lastimen, okay? So we're gonna grab these nails, vamos a agarrar estos clavos, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some nails all over our tube. Vamos a poner clavos todo alrededor de nuestro tubo. I'm a little bit weak, soy un poquito débil, así que me va a costar un poquito de entrarlo, pero, yes, con fuerza, I'm putting my nail inside my tube, see? What do you guys think? This looks kind of good. What do you think? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, yo me estoy mandando que me están respondiendo, so no se preocupen. All right, so vamos entonces parar aquí. I think I'm gonna put one more just because. Voy a poner otro más por aquí. And so now I want you to think and guess what we're going to do next. So ahora ustedes terminar poniendo su clavo en su tubo, piensen y adivinen, ¿qué es lo que vamos a hacer próximamente? So I am going to put one more. This will be the last one. Este va a ser el último. All right. It's looking pretty good. So, adivinen, ¿qué vamos a hacer ahora? What do you think we're going to do next? And I can hear all of you guys. And I hear some good answers. Yo escucho buenas respuestas de su casa. Es cierto, ahora vamos a echarle cosas a nuestro tubo. You're right, we're gonna put some stuff in our tube. And this is what's gonna help us really get that sound for that ring. So I'm gonna go to the rice, which maybe you see being cooked all the time, but instead of cooking it, we're gonna put it in our tube. Voy al arroz, que a lo mejor ustedes ven que lo cocinan todo el tiempo, pero en vez de cocinarlo, vamos a entonces echarlo en nuestro tubo. Pueden usar una cuchara, o si lo van a hacer así, simplemente está bien, pero recuerden que tienen que limpiar después de que terminen para ayudar a su familia. If you're just gonna put it in and you're gonna make a mess, that's fun, you know, that's cool. But make sure you clean up after yourself afterwards. And now I'm gonna also put some of these peas in here. También voy a echar un poquito de estas habichuelas. And I don't know if you can hear this, but I already hear some of this music being made. Ya escucho algunas cosas, ya como sonido similar a lluvia. So actually, I'm gonna keep putting some more. Voy a echarle un poquito más de arroz, de habichuelas. Podríamos hacer aquí un buen arroz y habichuelas. Solo que quede lo pueden cocinar más tarde, si cocinan. If you can cook some of this stuff later. All right. And I think I'm also gonna go ahead and put some of these sprinkles. Le voy a echar un poquito de estos sprinkles. Si tienen algo similar, como de tamaño, pueden echarle algo similar también a su tubo. Y así le da diferentes sonidos para su palo de lluvia. And we're almost going to be finished with this. Casi vamos a terminar. Estas son las partes más difíciles. And so I'm going to add some of these things for our rain stick. I think that's good. I'm going to put a little bit more of these beans. Voy a echar un poquito más de habichuelas. Okay, so no me lo dejen muy vacío. You don't want it to be too empty. You don't want it to be too full either. So actually, I'm going to take a little bit out so that you have enough space to make some noise there. Okay? So now, guess what we're going to do? Ahora adivinen qué vamos a hacer. Ya tengo aquí algunas cosas adentro. I have some things, and I want to start shaking it up. But if I do, things are going to fall out from this end. So, we're going to go ahead and cover it up. Lo vamos a cubrir. Okay? Para que no se nos salga nada de lo que está adentro. So, lo que yo hice fue que la misma cosa que hice para una punta, lo voy a hacer para la otra punta. Same thing that I did for one end, I'm going to do for the other. Now also, I had mentioned the aluminum foil before. El papel de aluminio. Si no tienen clavos, if you don't have any nails, you can actually put aluminum foil. You can kind of scrumple it up a little. Pueden agarrar el papel de aluminio si no tienen clavos y pueden entrarlo en su tubo. You can put it inside your tube and that will give you some effect. But the nails are way better. Los clavos te dan un sonido poco mejor. Okay? So, vamos a agarrar entonces nuestro pedazo de cartón o papel de construcción, perdón. We're going to grab our construction paper and I'm going to grab a rubber band. I'm going to grab a blue one. Voy a agarrar azul because it's one of my favorite colors. Es uno de mis colores favoritos. So, lo voy a poner aquí. You know, give this your own touch. Make this something special for you. Denle un toque especial a su palo de lluvia, que sea algo especial para ustedes. now we're almost there. Casi estamos ahí. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some tape on the ends to make sure this is secure. Vamos a poner un poquito de cinta adhesiva a las puntas para asegurarse de que nada se nos salga. So I'm grabbing some tape and I'm gonna put it this way actually. Make sure it stays in place. Y voy a agarrar un poquito más. Asegurarme que todo quede. If you don't have tape, it's okay. It's probably gonna be fine with the rubber band. Just make sure you secure it, okay? Si no tienen cinta adhesiva, está bien. No se preocupen. Simplemente asegúrense que lo puedan amarrar muy bien con sus gomas elásticas. I'm gonna put one more piece here. Otro pedazo aquí. And we're about to cook with, we're about to do this, okay? Casi, casi. Alright. So tengo mis dos puntas. Are you guys ready to hear the rain stick? It doesn't look pretty yet. I know, but we're gonna get there. Hold on one sec. Okay, so voy a agarrar mi palo de lluvia and I'm gonna go ahead and have it go down. And I don't know if you can hear it. I hope you can. No sé si lo pueden escuchar muy bien con el micrófono. Espero que sí. Pero entonces por ahí va mi palo de lluvia. So let me show you what I did with this one. Aquí también tengo otro palo de lluvia que ya lo terminé. This is my rain stick that I had already finished. And what can you tell is the difference? ¿Qué pueden notar de diferencia? Este lo terminé, lo coloreé, le puse algo bonito. You know, I finished it up. I added some of my special touches, my own things that I wanted to do. And that's what I'm going to ask you to do. Eso es lo que le voy a pedir a ustedes que también hagan. Cojan sus marcadores. You can grab some markers. We have stickers. Tienen algunos stickers o algo así. Sus marcadores, crayolas, cualquier cosa. And decorate your rain stick. Y pueden entonces decorar su palo de agua o palo de lluvia. And make it pretty. Make it way prettier than this. These are just some of my favorite things. So, algunas cosas que le puse, le amarré algunas cosas al final. I tied up a couple of different strands here. And I try to add different colors. And it's my rain stick. Y le añadí algunos colores. Y es mi lluvia, mi palo, perdón, de lluvia. And what you can also do with it is, you're gonna grab it and you're gonna start playing it by going nice and slow with it to hear that rain effect. Entonces lo pueden dar vuelta para escuchar ese efecto de lluvia. And then what you can do is you can sing a song with it. Ready? There's a song that I used to sing when I was little and it would say, something that would say, rain, rain, go away. Come again another day, 'cause Cristina wants to play. Rain, rain, go away. I made a face because I forgot the lyrics, but that's okay. También en español, me la inventé en español y va así. Esta es mi versión. Lluvia, lluvia, vete ya, Cristina quiere jugar. Regresa otro día, lluvia, lluvia, vete ya. Now, not only did you make an instrument, but you also learned a song, and you can sing it along with your rain stick. Así también pueden cantar una canción con su palo de lluvia. So, this is how we make a rain stick. I can't wait to hopefully see pictures or videos or something of all the cool rain sticks that you guys will be making. Estoy ansiosa para ver sus palos de lluvias que ustedes van a hacer. Have fun with it. Decorate it and make it your own. Diviértanse, decórenlo y denle su toque especial. All right? So till next time, I'll see you guys. Take care. Cuídense. Bye.
I want to talk about balloon safety because balloons can be dangerous. You never want to put a balloon in your mouth except if you're blowing it up. Let's make a pirate sword. So, the pirate sword starts with a little tiny bubble. we'll make a circle and twist the little bubble around. Ta-da! There is the pirate sword. Now remember, with the sword you can run it through the gut. You can chop someone down at the knees, but you may not hit him or her on the head. Okay? Or I'll make you walk the plank.
Wow, Matilda, that was fun. Let's see who was paying attention. It's time for a raffle.
¿Una rifa? Vamos a tener una rifa. ¿Qué tenemos que hacer, Bob? ¿Cómo nos podemos ganar ese premio?
I know how to play the saxophone. Do you know how to play any instruments, friends? Wow, that's amazing. You should teach me how to play that someday. You're doing great. Keep going. Do you, Matilda? Do you know how to play any instruments?
Sí, Bob, yo sé tocar la guitarra. Todos los días practico mi guitarra. Me encanta. Y también sé cantar. Si quieres te canto la cucaracha. La cucaracha, la okay.
Do you want to see some more cool instruments?
Sí, ¿quieren ver más instrumentos? Sí, me encanta la música.
Okay. Here's some cool music by my friend.
Hi, my name is Genithia. I'm a music teacher in Lawrence, Massachusetts, and today I want to talk to you about a musical instrument that some of you may have heard of, but maybe you don't like it. It's the recorder. Now I know some of you are thinking, oh no, it's that squeaky loud instrument that my teacher made me play when I was little. But the recorder is actually a pretty cool instrument. Now I'm going to tell you why. First of all, the recorder is a woodwind instrument. That means it's in the same instrument family as flutes and clarinets, saxophones and oboes. So, how do we play the recorder? Well, here's how we don't play the recorder. Don't do that. See, you gotta think about the recorder like you're blowing gently onto a bowl of hot soup. Now, if you blow too hard onto that bowl of hot soup, what's gonna happen? All the soup is gonna fly out of the bowl. You might even get burned. But if you blow gently, then you get a beautiful sound. So, I mentioned that the recorder is a woodwind instrument. That means that it makes music when you blow air into it, just like this instrument here. It's called a flute. Now, you might be thinking these instruments don't look very similar. And you're right, the flute's way bigger. It's shiny because it's made out of metal. But these are actually cousins. And so one of the really cool things about learning how to play the recorder is that if you learn how to play the recorder, it's easier to learn how to play the flute. Now see these holes over here? And don't forget the one in the back. These are the finger holes. And you can make a high or a low sound on your recorder depending on which holes you're covering. So, as I uncover the holes with my fingers, I make a higher sound. The flute does the same thing. Now you might be thinking there are no finger holes on the flute, but they're there. They're just covered with these buttons. And yes, you have to play the flute sideways. So, once you know how to play the notes on the recorder, you play them the same way on the flute. You just turn it sideways. It's pretty cool. Here's something really important about the recorder. You can play a whole lot of songs with just your left hand and the holes on the top. Remember to cover the thumb hole in the back. So here's what you do. Make sure you cover the holes completely. If you don't, that's when it squeaks. Now you might notice that my right hand wasn't doing anything except keeping my thumb over here to hold the recorder in place. Some of you probably recognized that song. It was Mary Had a Little Lamb. I'm going to play it again. You can sing along if you want. So, with your thumb and the top hole, you get the first note. And when you want the sound to go down, you're just going to cover the next hole below, and then one more down below that. You really only need 3 songs to play Mary Had a Little Lamb, and to play Au clair de la lune. And everybody's favorite, hot cross buns. Now you can cover these other holes if you want to make a lower sound. But make sure you cover the holes completely, especially here at the bottom. I don't know if you can see, but these 2 holes at the bottom are actually double holes. So you want to make sure that you are covering with your pinky both of the holes on the bottom, and with your 4th finger both of the holes down there. If you only cover it halfway, the sound escapes, and that again is where we get our squeaks. Now the flute, because it's a bigger instrument, can play a lot more notes than the recorder. But remember, once you know how to play the recorder, the flute is a lot easier to learn. So, the bigger the instrument is, the more sounds it can make. That's why the recorder can't play as many notes. But it's a really cool instrument because it's a great way to get started. After the recorder, you can also learn how to play the saxophone, clarinet, the oboe, even the bassoon, which is a really big instrument that sounds kind of funny. Boys and girls, I hope that you have recorders at home. If you don't, hopefully you'll get to play one someday. But remember, when your music teacher gives you a recorder and says it's time to play, don't say, "Oh no, not the loud, squeaky instrument." Remember, "Oh yeah, that cool instrument, just blow gently." And have a lot of fun making some great music. Thank you.
Wow, Matilda, that music sounds so jazzy. I think that we have time for one more raffle.
De verdad, me encantó esa música, Bob. Qué bonita música.
Okay, the 5th person to call and answer the question correctly will win.
La persona que llame y conteste la pregunta correctamente será la ganadora, la 5ª persona. ¡Qué emoción! ¿Cuál es la pregunta?
Okay, let's see. The question is, what instruments did the music teacher play?
¿Cuál instrumentos tocó la maestra de música? ¡Wow! Tocó muy bonito.
Yes, what instrument was it? Was it a guitar?
No. Fue un violín, Bob.
Good luck, everybody. Did you have fun?
Sí, qué divertido estuvo este día.
Yes, it was so exciting. What was your favorite show? Was it the animals or the clown, the music, maybe the instruments?
Me encantaron todos los shows, los animales. Adoro los animales, Bob. Los instrumentos, la música, el payaso. Yo quiero un payaso para mi fiesta.
Did you enjoy all of them? Wow, you really did enjoy them.
Sí, lo disfruté muchísimo. ¿Tú, amiguita, lo disfrutaste?
Yay!
Oh,
Goodbye!
adiós.
Goodbye!
Adiós.